Hey guys, this is part 2 of .NET Framework. In this video we will talk about the .NET Framework, and in the later videos we will use this framework to create the applications in C#, and we will use those applications to understand the different features of C#. So let's talk about the .NET Framework. .NET Framework is basically a software framework, and it was designed by Microsoft, and it runs primarily on Microsoft Windows. This is basically a big collection of different libraries which is named as framework class libraries, and in short it is also said as FCL. These libraries are further the collection of classes and functions. So in the later videos we will use the classes and functions of this library, and we will create the different applications using them. So at the moment you can just understand that the .NET Framework libraries are the collection of classes and functions. Framework class libraries provides the different features, like it can be used to create the user interface, it can be used for data access, it can be used for the database connectivity, which is known as ADO.NET. So we will use these classes in the later videos, and it can be also used for cryptography, it can be used to develop the web application, and it can be used for the numeric algorithms, and it can be also used for the network communications. And the .NET Framework libraries are designed to basically extend the CLR, and the CLR stands for Common Language Runtime, and it is used to make the software and system development a lot easier. The CLR is basically a runtime engine which has a list of useful features like just-in-time compiling. It is also used for garbage collection and other features like that it is supporting. If we will move on to the next slide, this is basically a pictorial representation of .NET Framework, and we will talk about these different features of .NET Framework from bottom to top. So if you will see here in the left, in 2005 .NET Framework 2.0 was released, and it has came up with the different features like Windows Forms. There was a way to develop the applications for in Windows Forms, and it was also supporting ASP.NET, and it was also supporting the ADO.NET. This is used to communicate with the database, and it was also came up with the framework class libraries, and it was also came up with the Common Language Runtime, which we have just discussed about. Common Language Runtime, this has basically a list of different features like just-in-time programming, and it also supports the garbage collection. Then in 2006 version 3.0 has came of .NET Framework, and it was containing the different features like WPF, which stands for Windows Presentation Foundation, and then it has come up with the WCF, and it has also having the feature of WF, and it was also having a feature called card space. Then in 2007 3.5 version of .NET Framework was released, and it has come up with link queue and entity framework. We will use a link queue in the later videos. We will use link queue to query on the different objects using these link queue queries, and entity framework as well. Then in 2010 .NET Framework was released with 4.0 version, and it was supporting the different features like parallel link queue, task parallel library, and then in 2010 it has came up with the version, and it was called 4.5, and it was supporting the different applications like .NET APIs for store and UWP apps, and it was also having a feature called task based async model. So at the moment the .NET Framework is 4.8, and it was released with Visual Studio 2019. So we will talk about the 4.8 version of .NET Framework in later videos. At the moment we can just focus about the introduction of this .NET Framework. So here this is basically the list of different versions of .NET framework, and I have just represented you the main features which were launched with the particular version of .NET. So that's it from this video tutorial. In the next video we will use a application through which we will understand the different parts of a simple program, and then in the later videos we will do the different things to understand about C#. So that's it from this video tutorial. I'll see you guys in the next one.